in conversational French grammar which see Photography, History and Handbook of C.T. Sangdia. Physical Treatise on Electricity and Magnetism by J. E. H. Gordon, B.A. with about 200 colored, full-page, and other illustrations. In respect to the number and beauty of the illustrations, the work is quite unique. 2 vols, 8 vo, 36s. Poems of the Inner Life. A new edition, revised, with many additional poems. Small post 8 vo, cloth, 5s. Poganuke People, Their Loves and Lives. By Mrs. Beecher Stowe. Crown 8 vo, cloth, 6s. Polar Expeditions. C. Koldewey, Markham, MacGahan, Nares, and Nordenskjöld. Poynter, Edward J. R.A. See Illustrated Textbooks. Publishers Circular, The, and General Record of British and Foreign Literature. Published on the 1st and 15th of every month, 3d. Pyrenees, The. By Henry Blackburn. With 100 illustrations by Gustave Doré, a new map of routes, and information for travelers, corrected to 1881. With a description of Lourdes in 1880. Crown 8 vo, cloth extra, 7s. 6d. Rambord, Alfred. History of Russia, from its origin to the year 1877. With 6 maps. Translated by Mrs. L. B. Lane. 2 vols, demi 8 vo, cloth extra, 38s. Recollections of Writers. By Charles and Mary Cowden Clarke. Authors of the Concordance to Shakespeare and C. With letters of Charles Lamb, Leigh Hunt, Douglas Jerrold, and Charles Dickens, and a preface by Mary Cowden Clarke. Crown 8 vo, cloth, 10s. 6d. Remusat, Madame de. See Memoirs of Selection. Richter, Jean Paul. The Literary Works of Leonardo da Vinci. Containing his writings on painting, sculpture, and architecture, his philosophical maxims, humorous writings, and miscellaneous notes on personal events, on his contemporaries, on literature, and C. For the first time published from autograph manuscripts. By J. P. Richter, Ph.D.R., Honorable Member of the Royal and Imperial Academy of Rome, and C. 2 vols, Imperial 8 vo, containing about 200 drawings in autotype reproductions, and numerous other illustrations. Price 8 guineas to subscribers. After publication the price will be 10 guineas. Robinson, Phil. See In My Indian Garden Under the Punkah Noah's Ark. Rochefoucauld's Reflections. Bayard Series, 2s. 6d. Rogers, S. Pleasures of Memory. See Choice Editions of Choice Books. 2s. 6d. Rose in Bloom. See Alcott. Rose Library, The. Popular Literature of All Countries. Each volume, 1s. Cloth, 2s. 6d. Many of the volumes are illustrated. 1 Seagull Rock. by Jules Sandio. Illustrated. Two Little Women, by Louisa M. Alcott. Three Little Women Wedded, forming a sequel to Little Women. For the House on Wheels, by Madame de Staël. Illustrated. Five Little Men, by Louisa M. Alcott. DBLE. Volume 2s. Cloth, 3s. 6d6. The Old-Fashioned Girl, by Louisa M. Alcott. Double volume, 2s. Cloth, 3s. 6d7. The Mistress of the Manse, by J.G. Holland. 8 Timothy Titcomb's Letters to Young People, Single and Married. 9 Undine, and the Two Captains, by Baron de la Motte Fouque. A new translation by F. E. Bunnett. Illustrated. 10 Draxie Miller's Dowry, and the Elder's Wife. Saxe Home. 11 The Four Gold Pieces, by Madame Guraud. Illustrated. 12 Work, a Story of Experience. First portion, by L. M. Alcott. 13 Beginning Again, sequel to above, by L. M. Alcott. 14 Piccola, or The Prison Flower, X. B. Sintine. Illustrated. 15 Robert's Holidays. Illustrated. 16 The Two Children of Saint Domingo. Numerous illustrations. 17 Aunt Joe's Scrap Bag. 18 Stowe, Mrs. H. B. The Pearl of Oars Island. 19 The Minister's Wooing. 20 Betty's Bright Idea. 21 The Ghost in the Mill. 22 Captain Kidd's Money. 23 We and Our Neighbors. Double volume, 2s. 24 My Wife and I. Double volume, 2s. Cloth, gilt, 3s. 6d25. Hans Brinker, or The Silver Skates. 26 Lowell's My Study Window. 27 Holmes, O.W. The Guardian Angel. 28 Warner, C.D. My Summer in a Garden. 29 Hitherto, by the author of The Gay Worthies. 2 vols, 1s. Each. 30 Helen's Babies, by their latest victim. 31 The Barton Experiment, by the author of Helen's Babies. 32 Dread, Mrs. Beecher Stowe. DBLE. Volume, 2s. Cloth gilt, 3s. 6d33. Warner, C.D. In the Wilderness. 34 6-1. A Seaside Story. 35 Nothing to Wear, and 2 Millions. 36 Farm Ballads, by Will Carleton. 37 Farm Festivals, by Will Carleton. 38 Farm Legends, by Will Carleton. 39 and 40. The Clients of Dr. Bernagius. Byatt. Parts I and II. 41 Baby Roo, Her Adventures and Misadventures. C. M. Clay. 42. The Undiscovered Country. By W. D. Howells. 43. Friends, a Duet. By Elizabeth Stuart Phelps. 44. A Gentleman of Leisure. A Novel. By Edgar Fawcett. 45. The Story of Helen Troy. Round the Yule Log, Norwegian Folk and Fairy Tales. Translated from the Norwegian of P. C. H. R. Asbjornsen. With 100 illustrations. Imperial 16 Mo, cloth extra, gilt edges, 7s. 6. D. Russell, W. Clark. See A Sailor's Sweetheart 3 vols, 31s. 6. D. Wreck of the Grosvenor, 6s. John Holdsworth, Chief Mate, 6s. Russell, W. H., LL.D. Hespro then, Notes from the Western World. A record of a ramble through part of the United States, Canada, and the Far West, in the spring and summer of 1881. By W. H. Russell, LL.D. 2 vols, Crown 8 vo, cloth, 24s. The Tour of the Prince of Wales in India. By W. H. Russell, LL.D. Fully illustrated by Sidney P. Hall, M.A. Superoil 8 vo, cloth extra, gilt edges, 52s. 6D. Large paper edition, 84s. Saints and Their Symbols, a companion in the churches and picture galleries of Europe. With illustrations. Royal 16 Mo, cloth extra, 3s. 6D. Science Ladders. FCAP. 8 vo, stiff covers, 6D. Each. Series I Know I Forms of Land and Water. With 15 illustrations. 2. The Story of Early Exploration. Series 2. I Vegetable Life. With 35 illustrations. 2. Flowerless Plants. Series 3. I Lowest Forms of Water Animals. With 22 illustrations. 2. Lowly Mantle and Armor Wearers. Schuyler, Eugene. The Life of Peter the Great. By Eugene Schuyler, author of Turkestan. 2 vols, Demi 8 vo, cloth extra. Selection from the letters of Madame de Remusat to her husband and son, from 1804 to 1813. From the French, by Mrs. Cashel Hoey and Mr. John Lilly. In 1 vol, Demi 8 vo, uniform with the Memoirs of Madame de Remusat 2 vols, cloth extra, 16s. Siani, sporting in the Satpura range of central India, and in the valley of the Nurbuda. By R. Sterndale, FRGS 8 vo, with numerous illustrations, 21s. 7 years in South Africa, travels, researches, and hunting adventures between the Diamond Fields and the Zambesi, 1872 to 1879. By Dr. Emil Holub. With over 100 original illustrations and 4 maps. In 2 vols, Demi 8 vo, cloth extra, 42s. Serpent Charmer, The Tale of the Indian Mutiny. From the French of Louis Rosselli. Numerous illustrations. Crown 8vo, cloth extra, gilt edges, 7s. 6d dot, plainer binding, 5s. Shadbolt, s. The Afghan Campaigns of 1878 to 1880. By Sidney Shadbolt, joint author of the South African Campaign of 1879. Dedicated by permission to Major General Sir Frederick Roberts, GCB, VC, and C2 vols, Royal Quarto, cloth extra, to subscribers before publication, 2L. 10s. To non-subscribers, 3L. Shooting, its appliances, practice, and purpose. By James de Yell Dugall, FSA, FZA, author of Scottish Field Sports and C. New edition, revised with additions. Crown 8vo, cloth extra, 7s. 6d. The book is admirable in every way. We wish it every success. Globe. A very complete treatise. Likely to take high rank as an authority on shooting. Daily News. Sykes, Wirt. Rambles and Studies in Old South Wales. With numerous illustrations. Demi 8vo, cloth extra, 18s. By Wirt Sykes, author of British Goblins which see. Silent Hour, the See Gentle Life series. Silver Sockets, the and Other Shadows of Redemption. 18 Sermons preached in Christ Church, Hampstead, by the Reverend C. H. Waller. Small Post 8vo, cloth, 6s. Smith, G. Assyrian Explorations and Discoveries. By the late George Smith. Illustrated by photographs and woodcuts. Demi 8vo, 6th edition, 18s. The Chaldean Account of Genesis. By the late G. Smith, of the Department of Oriental Antiquities, British Museum. With many illustrations. Demi 8vo, cloth extra, 6th edition, 16s. An entirely new edition, completely revised and rewritten by the Reverend Professor Sayce, Queen's College, Oxford. Demi 8vo, 18s. Snowshoes and Canoes, or The Adventures of a Fur Hunter in the Hudson's Bay Territory. By W. H. G. Kingston. 2nd edition. With numerous illustrations. Square Crown 8vo, cloth extra, gilt edges, 7s. 6d dot, plainer binding, 5s. South African Campaign, 1879, the compiled by J. P. Mackinnon, formerly 72nd Highlanders, and S. H. Shadbolt, and dedicated, by permission, to Field Marshal H. R. H. the Duke of Cambridge. 4-2, handsomely bound in cloth extra, 2L. 10s. Stanley, H. M. How I Found Livingstone. Crown 8vo, cloth extra, 7s. 6d dot, large paper edition, 10s. 6d Stanley, H. M. My Kalulu Prince, King, and Slave. A Story from Central Africa. Crown 8vo, about 430 pp. With numerous graphic illustrations, after original designs by the author. Cloth, 7s. 6d Kumasi and Magdala. A story of two British campaigns in Africa. Demi 8vo, with maps and illustrations, 16s. Through the Dark Continent, which see. Story without an end. From the German of Karove, by the late Mrs. Sarah T. Austin. Crown 4-2, with 15 exquisite drawings by E.V.B., printed in colors in facsimile of the original watercolors, and numerous other illustrations. New edition, 7s. 6d, square 4-2, with illustrations by Harvey. 2s 6d. Stowe, Mrs. Beecher, Dread. Cheap edition, boards, 2s. Cloth, gilt edges, 3s. 6d Footsteps of the Master. With illustrations and red borders. Small post 8vo, cloth extra, 6s. Geography, with 60 illustrations. Square cloth, 4s. 6d Little Foxes. Cheap edition, 1s. Library edition, 4s. 6d Betty's Bright Idea. 1s My Wife and I, or Harry Henderson's History. Small post 8vo, cloth extra, 6s. 1. Minister's Wooing. 5s. Copyright Series, 1s. 6d. Close, 2s. 1. Old Town Folk. 6s. Cheap Edition, 2s. 6d Old Town Fireside Stories. Cloth Extra, 3s. 6d Our Folks at Poganuk. 6s We and Our Neighbors. 1 volume, small post 8vo, 6s. Sequel to My Wife and I. 1. Pink and White Tyranny. Small post 8vo, 3s. 6d Cheap Edition, 1s. 6d and 2s. Stowe, Mrs. Beecher, Queer Little People. 1s. Cloth, 2s. Chimney Corner. 1s. Cloth, 1s. 6d The Pearl of Oars Island. Crown 8vo, 5s. 1, 1. See also Rose Library. Woman in Sacred History. Illustrated with 15 chromolithographs and about 200 pages of letterpress. Demi 4-2, cloth extra, gilt edges, 25s. Student's French Examiner. By F. Julian, author of Petites Leçons de Conversation et de Grammaire. Square cr. 8vo, cloth, 2s. Studies in the Theory of Descent. By Dr. August Wiseman, professor in the University of Freiburg. Translated and edited by Raphael Meldola, FCS, Secretary of the Entomological Society of London. Part I. On the seasonal dimorphism of butterflies, containing original communications by Mr. W. H. Edwards, of Colborough. With 2 colored plates. Price of Part I. To subscribers for the whole work only, 8s. Part 2. 6 colored plates, 16s. Part 3, 6s. Sunrise, a story of these times. by William Black, author of A Daughter of Heth and C. Crown 8vo, Cloth, 6s. Surgeon's Handbook on the Treatment of Wounded in War. By Dr. Friedrich S. March, Surgeon General to the Prussian Army. Numerous colored plates and illustrations, 8vo, strongly bound, 1l. 8s. Sylvan Spring. By Francis George Heath. Illustrated by 12 colored plates, drawn by F. E. Hume, FLS, artist and author of Familiar Wild Flowers, by 16 full-page, and more than 100 other wood engravings. Large post 8vo, cloth, gilt edges, 12s. 6d. Tyne, H.O. Les Origines de la France Contemporaine. Translated by John Durand. Volume 1. The Ancient Regime. Demi 8vo, cloth, 16s. Volume 2. The French Revolution. Volume 1. Cloth, 16s. Volume 3. The French Revolution. Volume 2. Cloth, 16s. Tauchnitz English editions of German authors. Each volume, cloth flexible, 2s. Or sewed, 1s. 6d. Catalogues post-free on application. B. German and English Dictionary. Cloth, 1s. 6d. Rhone, 2s. Tauchnitz's French and English Dictionary. Paper, 1s. 6d. Cloth, 2s. Rhone, 2s. 6d. Italian and English Dictionary. Paper, 1s. 6d. Cloth, 2s. Rhone, 2s. 6d. Spanish and English. Paper, 1s. 6d. Cloth, 2s. Rhone, 2s. 6d. Through America, or 9 months in the United States. By W. G. Marshall, M.A. With nearly 100 woodcuts of views of Utah country and the famous Yosemite Valley, the giant trees, New York, Niagara, San Francisco, and C. Containing a full account of Mormon life, as noted by the author during his visits to Salt Lake City in 1878 and 1879, Demi 8vo, 21s. Cheap edition, Crown 8vo, 7s. 6d. Through the Dark Continent, the sources of the Nile, around the Great Lakes, and down the Congo. By H. M. Stanley. Cheap edition, Crown 8vo, with some of the illustrations and maps, 12s. 6d. Through Siberia. By the Reverend Henry Lansdell. Illustrated with about 30 engravings, 2 route maps, and photograph of the author, in fish-skin costume of the Gulyaks on the lower Amur. 2 vols. Demi 8vo, 30s. Tour of the Prince of Wales in India. C. Russell. Trees and Ferns. By F. G. Heath. Crown 8vo, cloth, gilt edges, with numerous illustrations, 3s. 6d. A charming little volume. Land and Water. Tristram, Reverend Canon, Pathways of Palestine, a descriptive tour through the Holy Land. First series. Illustrated by 22 permanent photographs. Folio, cloth extra, gilt edges, 31s. 64D. Two Friends. By Lucian Byatt, author of Adventures of a Young Naturalist, My Rambles in the New World and See Small Post 8vo, numerous illustrations, gilt edges, 7s. 6D. Plainer binding, 5s. Two Supercargoes, The, or, Adventures in Savage Africa. By W. H. G. Kingston. Numerous full-page illustrations. Square Imperial 16 Mo, cloth extra, gilt edges, 7s. 6D. Plainer binding, 5s. Under the Punka. By Phil Robinson, author of In My Indian Garden. Crown 8vo, limp cloth, 3s. 6D. Union Jack, The Every Boy's Paper. Edited by Gia Henty. One Penny Weekly, monthly 6D. Volume 3. Commences with the Part 4 November, 1881, and contains the first chapters of 3 serial stories by G. Manville Fenn, Louis Risoli, and W. H. G. Kingston, from the French of Landel. Illustrated by the best artists. With the first part is presented a photograph of Jules Verne, and a colored plate, rounding the lightship a yachting incident, and this volume will also contain new stories by Colonel Butler, author of The Great Lone Land Jules Verne, an historical story by the editor, and C. Volume 2. For 1881, beautifully bound in red cloth, Royal 4 7s. 6D, gilt edges, 8s. Beautifully illustrated with over 400 illustrations, including 52 full-page engravings, 8 steel ditto, 7 colored plates, and photograph of the editor. The contents comprise The Cornet of Horse, A Tale of Marlborough's Wars. By the editor. The Young Frank Tires, A Tale of the Franco-German War. By the editor. The Ensign and Middy, A Tale of the Malay Peninsula. By G. Manville Fenn. The Steam House, The Demon of Cawnpore. A Tale of India. By Jules Verne. Rawdon School, A Tale of Schoolboy Life. By Bernard Heldman. Dorincourt, A Story of a Term There. By Bernard Heldman. Peyton Phelps, or Adventures Among the Italian Carbon Rye. By G. Stebbing. Gerald Ratlin, A Tale of Sea Life. By G.O. L. Ford. A Fight in Freedom's Cause. An Eventful Ride. The Ghost of Leytonstone Manor. An Editor's Yarns. True Tales of Brave Actions. And numerous other articles of interest and instruction. A few copies of Volume I, for 1880, still remain, price 6s. Apollo, or A Paradise of the Gods, being a description of the antiquities of the chief island of the Samoan group, with remarks on the topography, ethnology, and handily Bathurst Sterndale. Edited and annotated by his brother, author of Siani the Afghan Knife and C2 vols, Demi 8vo. Victor Hugo and His Times. translated from the French of a Barbu by Eleni Frua. 120 illustrations, many of them from designs by Victor Hugo himself. Superoil 8 vo, cloth extra. Vincent, F. Norsk, Lap, and Finn. By Frank Vincent, June, author of The Land of the White Elephant Through and Through the Tropics and C8 vo, cloth, with frontispiece and map, 12s. Large crown 8 vo. Containing 350 to 600 pp. And from 50 to 100 full-page illustrations. Containing the whole of the text with some illustrations. Works. In very handsome cloth binding, gilt edges. In plainer binding, plain edges. In cloth binding, gilt edges, smaller type. Colored boards SD 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Part I ditto Part 2. 10650,362 vols, 1s. Each. Hector Survey DAC 10650,362 vols, 1s. Each. The Fur Country 10650,362 vols, 1s. Each. From the Earth to the Moon and a Trip Round It 10650,2 vols, 2s. 2 vols, 1s. Each. Michael Strogoff, The Courier of the Cha 10650,362 vols, 1s. Each. Dick Sands, The Boy Captain 10650,362 vols, 1s. Each. 5 Weeks in a Balloon 7636201s. 0D Adventures of 3 Englishmen and 3 Russians 7636201s. 0D Around the World in 80 Days 7636201s. 0D A Floating City 7636201s. 0D The Blockade Runners 7636201s. 0D Dr. Ox's Experiment 7636201s. 0D Masters Asher 7636201s. 0D A Drama in the Air 7636201s. 0D A Winter Amid the Ice 7636201s. 0D The Survivors of the Chancellor 7636202 vols, 1s. Each. Martin Paz 7636201s. 0D The Mysterious Island, 3 vols : 226106106603s. 0D Volume I Dropped from the Clouds 7636201s. 0D Volume 2. Abandoned 7636201s. 0D Volume 3. Secret of the Island 7636201s. 0D The Child of the Cavern 7636201s. 0D The Begum's Fortune 76366 The Tribulations of a Chinaman 76 The Steam House, 2 vols : Volume I Demon of Cawnpore 76 Volume 2. Tigers and Traitors 76 The Giant Raft, 2 vols : Volume I 800 Leagues on the Amazon 76 Volume 2. The cryptogram 7/6 celebrated travels and travelers. 3 vols. Demi 8 vo, 600 pp. Upwards of 100 full-page illustrations, 12s. 6d. Gilt edges, 14s. Each. 1. The Exploration of the World. 2. The Great Navigators of the 18th Century. 3. The Great Explorers of the 19th Century. Waitarana, A Story of New Zealand Life. By Alexander Bathgate, author of Colonial Experiences. Crown 8 vo, cloth, 5s. Waller, Reverend C.H. The Names on the Gates of Pearl, and Other Studies. By the Reverend C.H. Waller, M.A. 2nd edition. Crown 8 vo, cloth extra, 6s. A Grammar and Analytical Vocabulary of the Words in the Greek Testament. Compiled from Bruder's Concordance. For the use of divinity students and Greek Testament classes. By the Reverend C.H. Waller, M.A. Part I. The Grammar. Small post 8 vo, cloth, 2s. 6d Part 2. The Vocabulary, 2s. 6d Adoption and the Covenant. Some Thoughts on Confirmation. Superoil 16 mo, cloth limp, 2s. 6d See also Silver Sockets. Wandering South by East, a descriptive record of 4 years of travel in the less known countries and islands of the southern and eastern hemispheres. By Walter Coote. 8 vo, with very numerous illustrations and a map, 21s. Warner, C.D. My Summer in a Garden. Rose Library, 1s. Backlog Studies. Boards, 1s. 6d. Cloth, 2s. In the Wilderness. Rose Library, 1s. Mummies and Moslems. 8 vo, cloth, 12s. Weaving. See History and Principles. Where to Find Ferns. By F. G. Heath, author of The Fern World and C. With a special chapter on the ferns round London, lists of fern stations, and descriptions of ferns and fern habitats throughout the British Isles. Crown 8 vo, cloth, price 3s. White, Rhoda E. From Infancy to Womanhood. A Book of Instruction for Young Mothers. Crown 8 vo, cloth, 10s. 6d Whittier, J.G. The King's Missive, and Later Poems. 18 mo, choice parchment cover, 3s. 6d This book contains all the poems written by Mr. Whittier since the publication of Hazel Blossoms. The Whittier Birthday Book. Extracts from the author's writings, with portrait and numerous illustrations. Uniform with the Emerson Birthday Book. Square 16 mo, very choice binding, 3s. 6d Wills, a few hints on proving, without professional assistance. By a probate court official. 5th edition, revised with forms of wills, residuary accounts, and CFCAP. 8 vo, cloth limp, 1s. With axe and rifle on the western prairies. by W. H. G. Kingston. With numerous illustrations, square crown 8vo, cloth extra, gilt edges, 7s. 6d. Plainer binding, 5s. Woolsey, C.D., LL.D. Introduction to the Study of International Law, designed as an aid in teaching and in historical studies. 5th edition, Demi 8vo, 18s. Words of Wellington, Maxims and Opinions, Sentences and Reflections of the Great Duke, gathered from his dispatches, letters, and speeches. Bayard Series. 2s6d. Wreck of the Grosvenor. By W. Clark Russell, author of John Holdsworth, Chief Mate A Sailor's Sweetheart and C6s. 3rd and cheaper edition. Wright, the late Reverend Henry, Sermons. Crown 8vo, with biographical preface, portrait, and c. in the press. London, Sampson Low, Marston, Searle, and Rivington. Crown Buildings, 188, Fleet Street, EC. Transcriber's notes, missing or obscured punctuation was corrected. This book was written at a time when both American and English spelling of some words were acceptable. The author's usages weren't changed. Typographical errors were silently corrected. Inconsistent spelling and hyphenation were made consistent only when a predominant form was found in this book. Asterisk 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 end of the Project Gutenberg ebook Proverb stories asterisk 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 updated editions will replace the previous one, the old editions will be renamed. Creating the works from print editions not protected by U.S. copyright law means that no one owns a United States copyright in these works, so the Foundation, and you, can copy and distribute it in the United States without permission and without paying copyright royalties. Special rules, set forth in the general terms of use part of this license, apply to copying and distributing Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works to protect the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol concept and trademark. Project Gutenberg is a registered trademark, and may not be used if you charge for an ebook, except by following the terms of the trademark license, including paying royalties for use of the Project Gutenberg trademark. If you do not charge anything for copies of this ebook, complying with the trademark license is very easy. You may use this ebook for nearly any purpose such as creation of derivative works, reports, performances and research. Project Gutenberg ebooks may be modified and printed and given away. You may do practically anything in the United States with ebooks not protected by U.S. copyright law. Redistribution is subject to the trademark license, especially commercial redistribution. Start. Full license. The full Project Gutenberg license. Please read this before you distribute or use this work to protect the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol mission of promoting the free distribution of electronic works, by using or distributing this work, or any other work associated in any way with the phrase Project Gutenberg. you agree to comply with all the terms of the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license available with this file or online at www.gutenberg.org/license. Section 1. General Terms of Use and Redistributing Project Gutenberg Trademark Symbol Electronic Works 1.0. By reading or using any part of this Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work, you indicate that you have read, understand, agree to and accept all the terms of this license and intellectual property, trademark/copyright, agreement. If you do not agree to abide by all the terms of this agreement, you must cease using and return or destroy all copies of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works in your possession. If you paid a fee for obtaining a copy of or access to a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work and you do not agree to be bound by the terms of this agreement, you may obtain a refund from the person or entity to whom you paid the fee as set forth in paragraph 1.e.8. 1.b Project Gutenberg is a registered trademark. It may only be used on or associated in any way with an electronic work by people who agree to be bound by the terms of this agreement. There are a few things that you can do with most Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works even without complying with the full terms of this agreement. See paragraph 1.c below. There are a lot of things you can do with Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works if you follow the terms of this agreement and help preserve free future access to Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works. See paragraph 1.e below. 1.c. The Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the Foundation or PGLAF, owns a compilation copyright in the collection of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works. Nearly all the individual works in the collection are in the public domain in the United States. If an individual work is unprotected by copyright law in the United States and you are located in the United States, we do not claim a right to prevent you from copying, distributing, performing, displaying or creating derivative works based on the work as long as all references to Project Gutenberg are removed. Of course, we hope that you will support the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol mission of promoting free access to electronic works by freely sharing Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works in compliance with the terms of this agreement for keeping the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol name associated with the work. You can easily comply with the terms of this agreement by keeping this work in the same format with its attached full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license when you share it without charge with others. 1.d. The copyright laws of the place where you are located also govern what you can do with this work. Copyright laws in most countries are in a constant state of change. If you are outside the United States, check the laws of your country in addition to the terms of this agreement before downloading, copying, displaying, performing, distributing or creating derivative works based on this work or any other Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work. The Foundation makes no representations concerning the copyright status of any work in any country other than the United States. 1.e Unless you have removed all references to Project Gutenberg. 1.e.1. The following sentence, with active links to, or other immediate access to, the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license must appear prominently whenever any copy of a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work, any work on which the phrase Project Gutenberg appears, or with which the phrase Project Gutenberg is associated, is accessed, displayed, performed, viewed, copied or distributed. This ebook is for the use of anyone anywhere in the United States and most other parts of the world at no cost and with almost no restrictions whatsoever. You may copy it, give it away or reuse it under the terms of the Project Gutenberg license included with this ebook or online at www.gutenberg.org. If you are not located in the United States, you will have to check the laws of the country where you are located before using this ebook. 1.e.2. If an individual Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work is derived from texts not protected by U.S. copyright law, does not contain a notice indicating that it is posted with permission of the copyright holder, the work can be copied and distributed to anyone in the United States without paying any fees or charges. If you are redistributing or providing access to a work with the phrase Project Gutenberg associated with or appearing on the work, you must comply either with the requirements of paragraphs 1.e.1 through 1.e.7 or obtain permission for the use of the work and the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol trademark as set forth in paragraphs 1.e.8 or 1.e.9. 1.e.3. If an individual Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work is posted with the permission of the copyright holder, your use and distribution must comply with both paragraphs 1.e.1 through 1.e.7 and any additional terms imposed by the copyright holder. Additional terms will be linked to the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license for all works posted with the permission of the copyright holder found at the beginning of this work. 1.e.4. Do not unlink or detach or remove the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license terms from this work, or any files containing a part of this work or any other work associated with Project Gutenberg trademark symbol. 1.e.5. Do not copy, display, perform, distribute or redistribute this electronic work, or any part of this electronic work, without prominently displaying the sentence set forth in paragraph 1.e.1 with active links or immediate access to the full terms of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license. 1.e.6. You may convert to and distribute this work in any binary, compressed, marked up, non-proprietary or proprietary form, including any word processing or hypertext form. However, if you provide access to or distribute copies of a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work in a format other than plain vanilla ASCII or other format used in the official version posted on the official Project Gutenberg trademark symbol website, www.gutenberg.org, you must, at no additional cost, fee or expense to the user, provide a copy, a means of exporting a copy, or a means of obtaining a copy upon request, of the work in its original plain vanilla ASCII or other form. Any alternate format must include the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license as specified in paragraph 1.e.1. 1.e.7. Do not charge a fee for access to, viewing, displaying, performing, copying or distributing any Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works unless you comply with paragraph 1.e.8 or 1.e.9. 1.e.8. You may charge a reasonable fee for copies of or providing access to or distributing Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works provided that you pay a royalty fee of 20% of the gross profits you derive from the use of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works calculated using the method you already use to calculate your applicable taxes. The fee is owed to the owner of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol trademark, but he has agreed to donate royalties under this paragraph to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. Royalty payments must be paid within 60 days following each date on which you prepare, or are legally required to prepare, your periodic tax returns. Royalty payments should be clearly marked as such and sent to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation at the address specified in Section 4, Information about donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. You provide a full refund of any money paid by a user who notifies you in writing, or by email, within 30 days of receipt that he does not agree to the terms of the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license. You must require such a user to return or destroy all copies of the works possessed in a physical medium and discontinue all use of and all access to other copies of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works. You provide, in accordance with paragraph 1.f.3, a full refund of any money paid for a work or a replacement copy, if a defect in the electronic work is discovered and reported to you within 90 days of receipt of the work. You comply with all other terms of this agreement for free distribution of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works. 1.e.9. If you wish to charge a fee or distribute a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work or group of works on different terms than are set forth in this agreement, you must obtain permission in writing from the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the manager of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol trademark. Contact the Foundation as set forth in Section 3 below. 1.f1.f.1. Project Gutenberg volunteers and employees expend considerable effort to identify, do copyright research on, transcribe and proofread works not protected by U.S. copyright law in creating the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol collection. Despite these efforts, Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works, and the medium on which they may be stored, may contain defects such as, but not limited to, incomplete, inaccurate or corrupt data, transcription errors, a copyright or other intellectual property infringement, a defective or damaged disk or other medium, a computer virus, or computer codes that damage or cannot be read by your equipment. 1.f.2. Limited warranty. Disclaimer of damages, except for the right of replacement or refund described in paragraph 1.f.3. The Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the owner of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol trademark, and any other party distributing a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work under this agreement, disclaim all liability to you for damages, costs and expenses, including legal fees. You agree that you have no remedies for negligence, strict liability, breach of warranty or breach of contract except those provided in paragraph 1.f.3. You agree that the foundation, the trademark owner, and any distributor under this agreement will not be liable to you for actual, direct, indirect, consequential, punitive or incidental damages even if you give notice of the possibility of such damage. 1.f.3. Limited right of replacement or refund. If you discover a defect in this electronic work within 90 days of receiving it, you can receive a refund of the money, if any, you paid for it by sending a written explanation to the person you received the work from. If you received the work on a physical medium, you must return the medium with your written explanation. The person or entity that provided you with the defective work may elect to provide a replacement copy in lieu of a refund. If you received the work electronically, the person or entity providing it to you may choose to give you a second opportunity to receive the work electronically in lieu of a refund. If the second copy is also defective, you may demand a refund in writing without further opportunities to fix the problem. 1.f.4. Except for the limited right of replacement or refund set forth in paragraph 1.f.3, this work is provided to you as is, with no other warranties of any kind, express or implied, including but not limited to warranties of merchantability or fitness for any purpose. 1.f.5. Some states do not allow disclaimers of certain implied warranties or the exclusion or limitation of certain types of damages. If any disclaimer or limitation set forth in this agreement violates the law of the state applicable to this agreement, the agreement shall be interpreted to make the maximum disclaimer or limitation permitted by the applicable state law. The invalidity or unenforceability of any provision of this agreement shall not void the remaining provisions. 1.f.6. Indemnity. You agree to indemnify and hold the foundation, the trademark owner, any agent or employee of the foundation, anyone providing copies of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works in accordance with this agreement, and any volunteers associated with the production, promotion and distribution of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works, harmless from all liability, costs and expenses, including legal fees, that arise directly or indirectly from any of the following which you do or cause to occur. A. Distribution of this or any Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work. B. Alteration, modification, or additions or deletions to any Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work, and C. Any defect you cause. Section 2. Information about the mission of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol. Project Gutenberg trademark symbol is synonymous with the free distribution of electronic works in formats readable by the widest variety of computers, including obsolete, old, middle-aged and new computers. It exists because of the efforts of hundreds of volunteers and donations from people in all walks of life. Volunteers and financial support to provide volunteers with the assistance they need are critical to reaching Project Gutenberg trademark symbol's goals and ensuring that the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol collection will remain freely available for generations to come. In 2001, the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation was created to provide a secure and permanent future for Project Gutenberg trademark symbol and future generations. To learn more about the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation and how your efforts and donations can help, see sections 3 and 4 and the Foundation information page at www.gutenberg.org. Section 3. Information about the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. The Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation is a non-profit 501(c)(3) educational corporation organized under the laws of the state of Mississippi and granted tax-exempt status by the Internal Revenue Service. The Foundation's IN or Federal Tax Identification Number is 64-6221541. Contributions to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation are tax-deductible to the full extent permitted by U.S. federal laws and your state's laws. The Foundation's business office is located at 809 North 1500 West, Salt Lake City, UT 84116. 801-596-1887. Email contact links and up-to-date contact information can be found at the Foundation's website and official page at www.gutenberg.org/contact section 4. Information about donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. Project Gutenberg trademark symbol depends upon and cannot survive without widespread public support and donations to carry out its mission of increasing the number of public domain and licensed works that can be freely distributed in machine-readable form accessible by the widest array of equipment, including outdated equipment. Many small donations, $1 to $5,000, are particularly important to maintaining tax-exempt status with the IRS. The Foundation is committed to complying with the laws regulating charities and charitable donations in all 50 states of the United States. Compliance requirements are not uniform and it takes a considerable effort, much paperwork and many fees to meet and keep up with these requirements. We do not solicit donations in locations where we have not received written confirmation of compliance. To send donations or determine the status of compliance for any particular state, visit www.gutenberg.org/donate. While we cannot and do not solicit contributions from states where we have not met the solicitation requirements, we know of no prohibition against accepting unsolicited donations from donors in such states who approach us with offers to donate. International donations are gratefully accepted, but we cannot make any statements concerning tax treatment of donations received from outside the United States. U.S. laws alone swamp our small staff. Please check the Project Gutenberg web pages for current donation methods and addresses. Donations are accepted in a number of other ways, including checks, online payments and credit card donations. To donate, please visit www.gutenberg.org/donate. Section 5. General information about Project Gutenberg Trademark Symbol Electronic Works. Professor Michael S. Hart was the originator of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol concept of a library of electronic works that could be freely shared with anyone. For 40 years, he produced and distributed Project Gutenberg trademark symbol ebooks with only a loose network of volunteer support. Project Gutenberg trademark symbol ebooks are often created from several printed editions, all of which are confirmed as not protected by copyright in the US unless a copyright notice is included. Thus, we do not necessarily keep ebooks in compliance with any particular paper edition. Most people start at our website, which has the main PG search facility, www.gutenberg.org. This website includes information about Project Gutenberg trademark symbol, including how to make donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, how to help produce our new ebooks, and how to subscribe to our email newsletter to hear about new ebooks.